Federal High Court in Lagos has declared the National Assembly's 110 billion naira vehicle and allowance schemes unlawful. The court ruled that spending 40 billion naira on 465 vehicles and 70 billion naira in support allowances breach procurement laws, constitutional obligations and public trust. The court also ordered the Senate President and the House Speaker to ensure future procurements comply with due process and the principles of transparency, accountability, and value for money. The judgment was delivered on May the 6th by Justice Yelim Bogoro. The certified true copy was sent on Sunday. Serap filed the lawsuit in August 2023 following plans for the spending amid worsening economic hardship. Well, for a discussion of the court's declaration of the National Assembly's 110 billion naira expenditure as unlawful and how to ensure the federal legislature is held accountable in public expenditure, lawyer Maxwell Opara joins us now. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
It's my pleasure to be here once again, Temitope and Cynthia. Thank you for having me.
So what do you make of this judgment, and what is its significance, for Nigerians who have been complaining for so long about wasteful spending in governance?
Well, it has gone. I want to first of all thank my Lord for that judgment. I also want to commend the Syrup for taking it upon themselves for serving the country. Just like you said, the significance of this judgment has gone a long way to establish what we have been complaining about, the kind of leadership we have in the person of Senator Akpabio and Abbas at the National Assembly. They never meant well for this country. And Cynthia, I believe that Nigeria is a country that operates the real democracy. By now, those two gentlemen should have stepped aside from being the Senate President and the Speaker. In this present Nigeria that federal government are finding difficult to pay workers, and somebody is talking about 110 billion naira for SUV cars, is unheard of. It's a man inhumanity to man. And imagine, even that Sarah did not take this matter up, they must have shared the money among themselves. So it's very unfortunate, and we want to commend the judge, and we're also calling other judges, because most of the times you see that when this matter will go to court, their lawyers will start raising unnecessary preliminary objection, challenging the jurisdiction of the court, challenging the local standard of the applicant. So, but on this particular ground, the judge maintained his ground and established the fact that this lack due process, this offends the Public Procurement Act. This is unheard of. It's outrageous. So the judge did not miss words. He just established it, and we want to commend the judge and we also plead with others to follow suit. That is the only area to save this country. Looking at the National Assembly, they don't want this country to exist. To ask yourself, what are these people are looking for? 110 billion naira, where the federal government is going around looking for where to borrow money. So when they borrow the money, they share it among themselves. No road, no economic infrastructural development, nothing is moving. And somebody is in the National Assembly budgeting 110 billion naira for themselves. So it's very unfortunate.
And very unfortunate indeed. Now, we've seen so many questionable actions carried out by the National Assembly, whether it was last week when they refused to probe military spending, and now this declaration by the courts talking about this very outrageous amount. Are you concerned that in spite of this declaration by the courts, that things might not really change? Because declaration is one thing, but implementation is where we usually see challenges.
Yes, that is where our civil society group, MBA and the Syrup and some other NGOs should now come up to follow it up, to check, because we're able to know this thing because Syrup has been following it, letting Nigeria know what is going on. So this is the time all of us will now come up collectively to monitor through Freedom of Information Act. to ask question, what happened? The money, the implementation of the judgment, has they moved the money? Have they started spending it? That's the only area we can checkmate them, by even, if possible, by protest. Also, the people that are, I thank God that Nigerians are watching, those of them that are National Assembly, you should try as much as possible to vote them out. All of them that approve this kind of budget among themselves, they should try as much as possible. Let us list them out and make sure that they don't come back again. This is an act of fraud, man inhumanity to man. They have breached their oath of conduct, being lawmakers. They have turned themselves to law looters. It's against lawmakers. So, and we should also call this spade what it is. That's the only area to move this country forward.
So is the National Assembly under any legal obligation to recover or refund the funds, involved? And what legal precedents also does this judgment set for the management of public funds by all government institutions?
Yes, of course. This is the case of Maxwell Opara and the First Lady. Have you forgotten the time the same National Assembly budgeted 1.5 billion naira to the office of for the maintenance of office of the First Lady? Office of the First Lady that is not recognized by the Constitution. Office of the First Lady that was not listed among the federal institutions that are entitled to budget. So as soon as I filed this matter, they withdraw that particular budget. And the First Lady even came out to say in one public function that he did not collect any budget from the federal government, that the money he was using is the one people gave donated to her. So, and I insisted, because one of my prayers in this suit is that I'm asking court to declare that Office of the First Lady is illegal. It's an NGO. Just the way we are treating other NGOs, should be treating like that, not allowing them to use that particular office to be constituting nuisance in the federal government. So, and I maintain it. So, but the challenges I'm having is that to get a date. Since last year, I filed this matter. So, I joined the National Assembly here. I joined the President. I joined the Attorney General. So, yes, once courts declare that that particular budget is a nullity, did not follow the due process of law, it should not be implemented. We are not in a banana republic. We are operating a government that is predicated on constitutional governance. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Indeed. I recall when you talked about, when you responded to my question initially, you talked about protests and, Freedom of Information Act and the likes. But when we look at Nigeria's Auditor General, it produces annual reports consistently flagging unlawful expenditures across government. Yet those reports, they often gather dust, if we're going to be honest. So what legal reform would give audit findings real enforcement teeth, as opposed to reference documents for occasional court cases?
The thing there is that when you're talking about reform, you discover that the thing still boils down to the executive, those that are managing our various institutions, and the National Assembly. So our last hope will still revert to the judiciary, that have the power to nullify, declare such an action a nullity. So now, if we discover such a thing, we should be able to approach to court and also protest. These are the only mechanism. Because when you are not saying that just like this particular 110 billion naira budget for vehicle, so had it been that we just fold our hands and we are talking about reform, they will continue. In fact, they will even frustrate it. Because when you're talking about reforming through legal framework, who are those that are going to come up with that legal framework? It's the same people. The highest we can do is to send a memo, and if they watch that memo is against them, they will put it in a dustbin. So the court will still remain the last hope of a common man, and the protest. That is the only two options to me. So that is the only two options to checkmate. So when you're talking about reform, let us have lectures, let us have seminar on this thing. These guys have criminal intention. And when you are dealing with somebody, a fraudster, whatever thing that you are saying, his mind, his intention, his agenda is on how to loot that particular treasury which is targeting. So every other thing that you are saying to stop him, the person will not listen to you. So except you go to court, asking court to stop him, just like as I asked use court to stop National Assembly. They have already projected that 1.5 billion naira before I went to court, and I addressed the press. So lucky enough, some colleagues now, some comrades joined me at Federal High Court that day, before they said that they should ask Maxwell to produce evidence. Something that you have said, everybody saw it. So but thank God, if you people are the people that are telling the truth, I'm the person that telling lies, the good thing is that that money was not given to Senator Garri Remi Tinubu, to his office, to maintain his office in the name of First Lady. So that is the only area to checkmate them.
Well, then I'm wondering, are there enough sanctions that are usually well implemented for misuse of public funds, and are the sanctions sufficient, to deter future violations?
The question you ask yourself is that when you're talking about sanction, who is to give the sanction? Who is to give the sanction? Who is to enforce the sanction if the sanction is being given? It's all of them now. They know what they are doing. Okay, you should ask yourself, there are some people that are untouchable in this country that you can't even. The other day I was in this studio and somebody was asking me that when you said that a politician is a criminal, what is the evidence? I said no. FCC cannot ask me evidence. I gave an instance. Somebody that was called to bar in 1998. You have not been into any court. You have not even taken any motion. You joined politics in 1999. And since that time, you have been a politician. You have been in the corridor of power. And you worth over 2 trillion naira. Is that person not a criminal? That person is a thief. Because the person cannot even say that this is, you come to everywhere, you own almost all the whole property, you are, all the whole real estate are your own. And they are telling me that I should write a petition where you're supposed to arrest the person, where the law has even given you the power to initiate investigation. So when you are talking about sanction, I don't know who is to enforce that particular sanction. Is it not the law enforcement agency? EFCC is under Attorney General. ICP is under Attorney General. Nigeria Police is under Attorney General. In fact, DSSS is even under Attorney General. And the Attorney General is under the executive. Then what are we talking about? So it's a very solid situation. So, but we continue to agitate until we get the right person in the helm of that affair.
And in just a minute, if the National Assembly chooses to just ignore this judgment or appeals it indefinitely, as a lawyer, what would be the next step, even though you've already alluded to or mentioned protest and the likes?
It's contempt of court now. If Maxwell Akpabio and Abbas fail to comply with this judgment and go ahead to loot or embezzle that 110 billion naira in the name of SUV cars, is contempt of court, and we should protest against them. Thank God that election is around the corner. I want to even encourage SERAP and some other NGOs to join in following it up, so that we know whether that particular money has been given to them, whether they has sent to their phone by word of prayers, according to Akpabio. So we should be vigilant. This money belongs to our own. And one thing there is that, you see, the challenges we are having is that when these people are elected, they feel that Nigeria is their father's inheritance, that they are not accountable to anybody. That is the challenges we are having. I think that the data orientation is very bad. And then somebody will come and tell us that Nigeria is turn by turn Nigerian Limited. No. We should checkmate them. These are our hard-earned taxpayers' money. And they should not use it as if it's their own money. Lazy set of people who have not even done anything in their life apart from being in politics, looting public funds.
Well, Mr. Maxwell Opara, lawyer, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.